I could say practically that it was because of her sentiment towards, if you say one, she wants to obey her husband, or two, a religious sense of entitlement, like they needs to do more. They could not just use their senses to guide in some instances. Probably, okay, once the doctor had already advised you no longer conceive because you can no longer have a child to play again, but you still went up because the husband wants her to have more, or you still went up because you don't want to disobey the God's injunction not to attend to your husband as Wendy.
Personally, very honest, I actually have issues with women that, forgive my language, one Kenya and one brain. We
Okay.
women, we have a lot to do for ourselves. I don't know, we always end up feeling like second class citizen when Islam is the one that has placed us above every other person. If for health reasons, the doctor says, for now, Mrs. Lagbaja, 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 reduce or stop childbirth, then it means that you need to stop childbirth. But when you keep on going ahead and you give yourself the excuse that it's because my husband, I must not say no to my husband, I must always, there are ways and manner to this thing. If you don't want to give birth to a child, you have other child spacing options that you could go for, that you could seek advice for in your medical, in the hospital. In fact, I now ask the husband, did she relay that information to the husband? Did they talk about it? Did they go back to the hospital? I have a story of a lady, and I'm sure that a lot of people have I've heard stories like this or can relate to something like this, where the woman is told, this one I know the person, at least I know a number of people, but this is one of them. And she was told that, dear lady, oh, don't give birth. She has about 4 or 5 kids already,
Okay.
and she was told to stop childbirth completely. This one completely, to avoid complications and all of that. Then she got pregnant for her last baby, and after she gave birth to the baby, she bled out till she died.
Oh, wow.
And that was how she died. It was a very, very painful experience for me because I knew her personally and I was really, really pained. And it was because, in trying to obey her husband, in not wanting to be like, oh, she doesn't want to go against the laws of religion, she went ahead to have a baby. The religion, when the religion says don't disobey your husband, it's not at expense of to your health. Even if you wanted to be sexually intimate with your partner, you should put things in place that would make sure that you do not end up having a baby. You could go for IUCD, you could go for the injection, you could use pills, you could go for condom. I mean, there are so many things you could do that you could do as a person.
So whose responsibility is to monitor the child spacing thing? Is it the wife who is supposed to know that, oh, there's a priority? Woman, this is my priority, this is my body. Let me make sure that, okay, it has to be 2 years, or I'm the one that will carry this baby for 9 months, breastfeed the baby for like 2 years, or some actively 6 months. So I need my energy back to be able to conceive, or I need even this one to be able to do one or two things by himself before I have another one. So whose responsibility is it, more to the wife or to the husband, or it should be a collective thing?
Holistically, I would say it's for both of them because, well, a family is a unit. And since communication is the bedrock of a proper family, you know, it means that both of you as partners, when you encounter a challenge or even if it's a success, you need to sit down and go back to the drawing board. Oh, at this stage in our marriage, this is the challenge. What should we do? However, there are different dynamics to a marriage. If you get to a space where you probably have a husband who would not listen or a husband who would not prioritize you,
You.
for a man that will not prioritize you, you've had instances. It's probably the kind of person who would justify spending money outside instead of dropping money to the house. It's probably the kind of person who would justify buying clothes for himself instead of buying clothes for yourself or the kids. It's probably the kind of person who would justify giving sodako. We know sodako is a good deed, right? It's charitable. But the also, as Hassan says, the best of sodako is one to your house. So you must have had instances to make you realize that your husband is not somebody who will pick you first. For that kind of person, then yes, the onus is on the woman to ensure that her life is not at stake. Because even when a woman gets pregnant and the pregnancy is at risk to her, it is Islamically allowed that she terminates that pregnancy. Talk more of when she's not yet pregnant.
It is allowed for a married
woman
to terminate pregnancy in marriage.
So long as if the pregnancy is dangerous to her health. Because at this time we know the mother. It is the mother that we know. We don't know the life of the baby yet. The mother is more important at this time than the child. So we say terminate the pregnancy. That's the ruling of scholars on that. So talk more of somebody who the doctors already give you fair warning that make sure you don't do this. And when instances of men will say no, they cannot use condom. Why? Exactly. Because they feel somehow about it. No, because it doesn't make the entry smooth and whatever. You as a woman, a lot of times personally, I question the woman because it means you as a woman, what are you doing? What are you doing to safeguard yourself?
Trying to satisfy the husband.
Oh, trying to satisfy the husband. The minute you die, my dear sister, please know that 1 month, 2 months, a year max, if they have not been telling him, they'll start telling him, especially if you have children before you leave. The question is, so that he won't be alone, or he has to look for a place to purge out his sexual urges. As we are Muslims, we cannot do that outside of marriage. Yeah, yes. So he needs to get married to continue to have easy sexual pleasure with somebody else. This sensibility, Islam is beautiful. It's not easy to say I want to get married to somebody. I want to allow my husband to get married to a second, third, or fourth wife. But this is one of the solutions here. Honestly, when you say, okay, my health, obey, my husband is not listening, if we want to, at this point, because for yourself, it means go ahead and get married to a second wife. That's another option. We might not like it. We might not want it. But if that is what will make you stay sane, good. But my gender, a lot of women do not want that kind of thing. Over their dead body, until Allah wants it, it will literally be over their dead body that the man will get married to another woman after they have died, not listening to doctors' injunctions. So the question is, what will happen to their kids? Who will take care of those kids? Is this society that will come and say, yeah, you're so sad, I needed to walk away. Oh, she's just gone like that.
Who do we crucify? Is it the religion? Is it the trying to obey the husband? Is it the culture? As a black man wants the husband to be the lord over the wife, as regard what the wife needs to do and how do because some will even tell you that for the fact that you want to go into family planning or accepting to do any of this family planning, is that to be with the concept of the husband. So let's assume the husband refuses to give that concept. We used to go on to have it done without the husband knowing. Because I have a friend, I was talking to some people and we were talking about okay, how do you manage your spacing and everything? And he was like, no, they cannot use condom. Oh, he does not really like to use it because it's not good. You don't want to use the protective. You also cannot do the withdrawal method. And now I begin to now want to understand what's the difference between doing it raw and using
a condom.
I think sometimes it's just maybe a mental thing that we create for ourselves.
Honestly, you have said everything.
To be able to say, okay, this is what I want more, at the detriment of your partner.
In fact,
whoever is involved.
What you just said just brought a lot of things to my mind. First, I want to clear, Islam is a perfect religion. Islam is a complete religion. For your Muslims. Understanding, for Muslims, for us that are Muslims, as you can see, I'm a Muslim. For your understanding of the religion determines just how well you want to practice the religion. Islam has not given the man the kind of what do I want to call it? Islam has not made sure that a woman would serve a man until the man kills her. I don't mean until death, but until the man does something that is detrimental to her. If both of you are not compatible about that one thing, please seek a better alternative. And like I said earlier, we have a lot of men are inherently selfish. I'm sorry for putting this out there, but it has to be said. Men are inherently selfish. And that's why it's
maybe the man wants to do so that the man won't be forced to go out.
Oh, well, if he doesn't want to go out and then the wife dies, who's the person to blame? You as a woman, love yourself, number one. Number two, read up about your religion. Read up about your rights in the religion. Read up about what the religion tells you to do. The fact that we all know the popular hadith that says that a woman that denies her husband's sexual rights, the angels will curse him to death. It's not because you want to deny your husband the sexual right. It's because you are seeking yourself. You yourself have to be okay. Because if you are not okay, where is the sexual right for a woman? Let me tell you another story of a woman who was so disturbed in her marital house. She started running mental to an extent that she had kids, but she couldn't take care of them. So once upon our Yorùbá ní all because she wants to obey the man, all because she wants to follow the man, all because she feels that, what kind of one is a man who would not protect his wife? And protection is not just by doing like this. Protection is not just by but protection is emotional. Protection is medical.
Placing
protection
the woman
is
interest ahead
of his own in everything. That is the height of protection.
I just read a message now. Someone was saying that they were saying that don't forget that your religion also do not allow you to use protective. Why that means you are denying the fertilized semen. Denying the fertilized semen, same as killing a child before birth.
Well, those that have that very narrow mindset, it means that there are people who want to who are looking for they want something to validate their selfish interests. Allah SWT said in the Quran that you should breastfeed your children for 2 years. Now, scientifically, most women, about 70% of women, when they breastfeed their children exclusively for at least the first 6 months and then they continue properly afterwards, it is a natural detriment to to getting pregnant. So when a woman actively breastfeeds her child, each time the child needs to be breastfed, she actively breastfeeds the child. For about 70% of the woman, the woman is already guarded against getting pregnant. So when Islam says breastfeed your children for this, before science came, science said child breastfeeding is good. Before they used to give them water and all of that, before findings came about, different formula and all of this. And Islam had already said this over 14,000, over 1,400 and whatever years ago, over 1,400 years ago. Allah had already revealed the Quran to us. Allah had already told us in the Quran that when you breastfeed your children, you should make sure, as mothers, make sure you breastfeed your children for 2 years. Yeah. So, Allah is telling us that you take care of yourself. Another thing that science discovers is that the blood of a woman doesn't come back, is not fully replenished until 2 years after she has given birth. It means that the body of a woman, the moment you drop a child and you are taking care of the child and you are stressing over it, even if you are taking care of yourself, the woman's body doesn't come back to pre-pregnancy stage until 2 years after. The woman
immediately go to the gym after 6 months so that they could easily get.
They want to, which is not bad. It is not fine. But the external factor is not the same as the internal factor.